This trial, Derek Chauvin said he wasn't going to testify. Both sides rested. The judge sent the jury home till Monday. The lawyers are working on the jury charges, and Brian Buckmire is there with his nose to the ground, getting all the information he can about what's happening outside the courthouse, including some new things you haven't heard from anyone else. Brian.
Hey, Linda. So today was a little bit quieter outside, but during the lunch break, we did have a number of people coming out and voicing their not only concerns about the police departments in Brooklyn Center as well as Minneapolis, but also showing physically the injuries that they had sustained in the nights of unrest here in Minnesota. If you recall, Dante Wright was shot and killed by an officer, Kim Potter. She's recently been charged with manslaughter charges. And so a number of people who went out past that curfew and both were protesting and or rioting. We're not sure who specifically came out today, but you did hear from a number of people showing bruises on their face, large pieces of flesh that was kind of missing from their legs. I heard also from other reporters saying that reporters were targeted as well, and they were hit with non-lethal weapons, but still weapons that caused significant damage. And so we heard from some of those individuals speaking about the violence that they sustained from police officers in the last couple of days. Inside the court, we did hear also about some of the reactions from the jurors through some of the testimony, especially the cross-examination and the direct of Dr. Tobin. Seems they still really liked him from his initial testimony.
Oh, well, Brian, that's really good to hear, because I know that he was the rock star, it seemed, certainly in the prosecution's case initially. But Keith Ellison, the Attorney General who actually took this case over from the local authorities, he's been in the courtroom a lot. Is there anything that you've noticed about him? Does the jury look at him when he's in front of the jury or when he's around the jury? Does he do anything differently? How does he interact?
So he kind of seems to have a bit of a laissez-faire approach to this case. The one day that I was in the court, he sat actually feet away from me, kind of the back part of where the prosecutors sit, and he had his own notepad, and he just took notes. He wasn't looking over any kind of documents. He wasn't getting in the way of the prosecutors who were doing the case. He wasn't fiddling with any of the technology to show what the jurors were seeing. So he really did kind of take a backseat approach, both literally and figuratively, to this case. And so we also kind of seeing similar to that in the pool report notes, that he's present, but his presence isn't overbearing on the case. I don't even think that some of the jurors would recognize when he does or doesn't come in, because when he does come in, he does so kind of unassumingly and quietly. And the jury, for the most part, especially juror number 2, who's always bobbing her head and listening very attentively, and I kind of call her the star pupil of the jury, they're very much focused on either the witnesses, attorneys, or the video being shown.